this weekend, a couple of strawweights that are definitely in need of some wins. They're leaving Brazil to meet in Austin. We had the Spider Girl, Maria Oliveira, taking on Gloria De Paula. And Matt, there's some nicknames out there in MMA that give me pause, they give me trouble, like the prospect Nathaniel Wood. That was one that I could think of. Twinkle Toes for Frank Trigg when he went with that one.
Beast in 25-8 is the all-time great.
But Spider Girl Maria Oliveira, so I did a deep dive on this one. So realistically, she had a quotable that was out there. It's on the UFC.com page. It was given to me by a promoter in Japan because of my physical and stylistic similarities to the great Anderson Silva.
Excuse me?
Are they fucking blind?
Did Stevie Wonder give her that nickname?
I'm thinking about it, in my head as I'm writing this stuff, 0-3, UFC, 2-3. Last 5 mates, look out. Here comes the Spider Girl. It's so bad. All I can think about is cringe Matt, Maria Oliveira, ladies and gentlemen. It's bad.
You can feel it all over. This is a strange fight in this division. Here's the thing, too. I'm just thinking down to the graphic. They have both these fighters listed at 5'5", but I gotta be honest. In my mind's eye, I do believe Gloria De Paula is going to be the bigger fighter physically.
Really?
I do think so. I do feel like she is the stronger fighter, at least in this matchup, and I do think that's really going to matter, because if she is able to get on the inside and use her physicality, I do think she's going to negate at least some of the strengths that Maria Oliveira does bring into the cage, because if Oliveira is able to start getting some of her distance strikes going, I do think it will help her a little bit, but at some point they are going to crash that distance, and that's the thing about Oliveira. She will just sort of crash forward at a certain point. I do think somebody like Gloria De Paula is going to be able to use her clinch, get the underhooks, get it to the cage, get it to the ground, because with De Paula, and again, I could be wrong, and by the time they do weigh in, maybe I'm completely off, and Maria Oliveira looks like Stefan Struve against her, but I do think Gloria De Paula is going to be able to use her size and her physicality and her superior clinch work to really go to work in this fight. But again, this fight's not one that we ever thought was going to be on the Fight of the Night screen, I don't think.
No, it's funny. I didn't hear a Brazilian promoter say that, but a Dutch promoter did. They said Maria Oliveira, she looks just like Stefan Struve. She's got all those physical gifts, really uses her range well. What a fucking terrible way to sell that. You look at Maria Oliveira, the 5-on-in, it is 2-3 in her last 5. She lost to Kana Asakura over with Ryzen. That was the intro, and I played it in Maria Oliveira's debut where the commentators, as she's walking in, are like, yeah, she told us that she's a girly girl. She likes some girly things. And I thought, well, this is going downhill quick. And then, yeah, Maria Oliveira...
Talk about her skills, though.
Wasn't able to defend takedowns. She really had a hard time in that fight. Lost by submission. Then, for some reason, Dana White's Contender Series thought, hey, we're sadists. Let's bring in a fighter who just lost the fight. And she took on Marina Rodriguez. And in that fight...
How did that fight go, Craig?
Marina's punching her face in up against the cage until Maria runs away and goes, nope. And she loses that fight by TKO because she didn't want to fight.
To be fair, if I fought Marina Rodriguez, the result would probably be very similar.
I know this sounds very critical, but again, you do have a fighter, Maria Oliveira. She goes out there, she fights with a small-time promotion over in Brazil, 2019, against Diuli Duarte, who was 0-1. Oliveira at the time was 10-4. Then Oliveira goes out and fights Emilia, and they had her as Anila Emily, if you look her up on YouTube to watch the fight, but Anila Tabosa is what they have her on Tapology. A debuting fighter, and she beats her by, it says punches on Tapology, but it was knees in the clinch, and then Anila Emily goes, no mas, I'm done. So then they give her a fight in the UFC. This is one of the more perplexing signings I've ever seen in the UFC.
I would agree with that.
And for Maria Oliveira, when things are going well, it is a good clinch game. She has really good knees. When she's out from distance, she's not a very accurate striker. She'll
get busy, though.
There's another fighter that's on this card that does the same thing. Oliveira will stop playing pitter-patter. She'll plant her feet. She'll throw from her hips, which completely throws defense out the window. So, I don't know. I mean, again, she has finished wins. She has a little bit of power. I wasn't necessarily overly impressed on the way into the UFC. She's a very reactive fighter. She doesn't have a lot of head movement either. And when I look at Gloria De Paula, this is a 6-4 fighter who lost her first 2 fights in the UFC. She was a minus 190 to beat Jinyu Fry. She lost that fight. She was an underdog her next time out that she lost to Cheyenne Vlismas, where she got finished. And then she took on Diana Belbizia her last time out. You can make an argument either way. I'm partial to whatever you want to say, but to me, I thought that it was De Paula able to get the win there. MMA decision, 6-29-28 for De Paula, 5-29-28 Belbizia, and one scored at 30-27 Belbizia. But all I will say is style for style, Gloria De Paula moves well on the feet, moves well in and out, moves well side to side, throws in combination, does get hit a fair bit. But for De Paula, I just think it's like if you turn Maria Oliveira's strengths up just a notch. That's what you have in De Paula.
The way you described Maria Oliveira was like how people describe DeAndre Jordan's playoff minutes. They're like, hey, we just hope that he can keep it together long enough for Joel Embiid to get back on the court and hope the other team doesn't go on a crazy run. You're right. With Oliveira, there's so many weaknesses to her game that they do sort of overshine her strengths, because if she is going to have success in this fight, I do agree. Gloria De Paula is almost just going to have to stand still in the middle of the cage and allow herself to get hit and just keep on going back to the same poor positions, because when they are in that mid-range, I could see Oliveira playing both games, having success with her volume, having some success with her power shots, but I still think De Paula's whole game plan, she can get the fight to the ground. She can fight more effectively on the feet, and I do think De Paula's game is going to be more suited to going later on into this fight, because I don't think Oliveira is going to have the cardio with her style to be able to match De Paula, especially with her takedown defense in the later second and third round.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, Oliveira's a fighter out of PRVT, you know, that gym for Jessica Andrade and so on and so forth, and I looked at it again when you're really running through it. BJJ World Champ by CBJJO and a national champion, but I've never seen her really look all that impressive off of the ground. Like, it's one of those things. You also look at her pre-UFC wins, level competition, combined record 8-17 out of those 12 wins. So it wasn't the best level of competition. Not to say that 6-4 Gloria De Paula is any world beater, like that old Greg Allman song, I'm no angel. But I do look at this one, Matt. You have a look at the odds. It's a little bit silly, but Gloria De Paula open a -175 favorite. And you know what happened? Somebody took a juicer and they squeezed that sucker. -264. We have a look at Oliveira, open to +150, +208. We have a look at the Tapology vote. Surprise that's there to you. I'm going to say over under 75% De Paula.
I'll say under.
I'm going to say under, slightly over. 862 total votes, 78% De Paula, 92% by decision for the 22% that have Oliveira, 79% by decision. Matt, I think Gloria De Paula wins this fight, if I haven't said that already.
If you gotta go to the fridge, if you gotta use the bathroom, if you need additional snacks, if you're making a spin dip perhaps that's gonna take a little bit of prep, this would be the fight to accomplish all of those tasks. I have Gloria De Paula, but this isn't going to be fight of the year by any means.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to the high life again off of this one. But both of us going with Brazil's Gloria De Paula to get the win. Matt, we have some big-time fights left on this card. Up in that main event slot, Calvin Kattar, he is the Boston Bird friend. He's going to be taking on a big-time fighter in Josh Emmett. You're not going to want to miss it. Keep it locked in with Fight Night Picks. We always say,
let's get into it.